Greetings. Today's video is on what it takes to get an alarm business started in the state of Arizona. And these procedures are pretty much the same for other states as well, because I'm licensed in Florida, Georgia, and Arizona currently. Probably add a couple more, but all of them are pretty much the same. Georgia's a little bit easier than Florida and Arizona. I'd say Florida was the hardest, Arizona was 2, and then Georgia was 3. So this is everything you need right here. Not necessarily in order. It's broken up into two different sections here. What you need, license, permit, certification wise, in order to open your own alarm company in the state of Arizona. So first of all, you have to form a company of some kind, whether it be a corporation, an LLC, or a sole proprietorship. So you've got to do that first, and that's a whole nother video because all those charges and everything are separate from what this is right here. This just pertains to alarms. This just alarm systems. They have and every trade is regulated this heavily. I mean, everything. I mean, electricians, contractors, interior design, painters, they have a permit for wallpaper people. I mean, it's absurd. And most of these are redundant multiple times. So the first thing, which I love, because all my certifications are coming up for renewal this week, so I've got to spend thousands in order to renew all my permits, licenses, certifications that I just did last year. So it's terrible. So the first thing you need to do is you need to get what's called a clearance card. And that's $65 plus the fingerprinting fee, because you have to go someplace to be fingerprinted. And that's from the Arizona Department of Public Safety, the ADPS. So they're the same ones that run the state troopers. So $65 to get background checked and fingerprinted, okay? So and fingerprints are $20 to $40, you know, wherever you go, it varies. But so you're going to get fingerprinted for the first time there. That's fingerprint number 1. Okay? So once you get approved to have that card and you've paid your money, then the Arizona State Board of Technical Registration. So it's they call it BTS for short, Board of Technical Registration, BTR. So they'll say you need to get a BTR card. So you've got the background check already for your clearance card and the fingerprints, you paid that money. So now you have to get what's called an alarm agent application. So, and this is for anybody that's going to go into a home and install an alarm system. All my employees have to have it. I have to have it. Once again, redundant. Salespeople have to have it. Everybody, before they can walk into the first house and install or sell an alarm system. So the application fee for that is $260. Now, notice I said application fee, and I was shocked at this. So you go ahead and you send in all your paperwork, and it's like 4 or 5 pages long. You pay $260 for the application to the Arizona State Board of Technical Registration, and then after about a week or so, they're going to send you something back in the mail that says, okay, now you're approved to pay the fee for the card. So the first part, the $260 that you sent in, was just so the application could go through. And then when they approve that, when they approve you to send them more money, is what it is. They get, they say, okay, yeah, now it's okay to send the other $160 to us. So the application's $260, and then they want another $160 to actually give you the card, okay? So you've got that done. So then, if you're the owner of the company like me, now I have to get what's called a controlling person card. Once again, through the Arizona State Board of Technical Registration, the BTR. So I have to fill out a form, again, and send a bunch of documentation in, and my $160 for the application fee to say that I'm legitimate and I'm a upstanding citizen. And then once they approve that, then I get to pay, I think it's another $160 for the controlling person card. Now what the controlling person card does is I sign everybody else's cards that work for me. And I don't necessarily have to be the owner, I could be the office manager or whoever, but every alarm company has to have one person assigned a controlling person, okay? So when I get my card, or when I submit my application for my card that I just mentioned before, the alarm agent alarm agent card, I am now the controlling person also, so I'm going to sign my own card, okay, and then mail that in and pay them money. So far I've got the clearance card, $65, the alarm agent card, which comes up to be $420 altogether, and then the controlling person card is another, it looks like $310, okay, so I've got that done so far. Oh, and then my business itself needs to have a registration, so which is different than my state contracting license for alarm systems. So that's coming up next. But the next one that the BTR hits you with is the alarm business application, and that's $150. I think it's every year. So once I have three of the other cards and fees paid, then I get to pay another $150 for my alarm business application, okay? And that just says that I'm going to put in alarm systems. They couldn't have guessed that by my state contracting license that they made me get. So, okay, so that the BTR part's done. The Arizona Department of Public Safety card is done. All that's paid for. And let's see. Okay, so now let's get to my contracting license, okay? All those cards were just, whatever, so we could run the office here and send people out to install. But if you don't have a person that has a license to do it, then all those cards are null and void. So my register of contractor fee to actually have a alarm license is $850, okay? Now, that's good for, I think, 2 years here. So, okay, $850 every 2 years. So then, let's see. In order to get the contractor license for the alarm, I have to do another background check and another fingerprint check, okay? So the background check is going to be done by some company called People G2. I have no idea who this company is, but I'm sure they're affiliated with a senator or a congressman or somebody that came up with this. So their fee is, let's see, background check. Oh, their fee, when you go to apply for it, it doesn't say. You have to go through all the steps and they'll do the background check and then you have to pay the fee. Don't know what the fee is, still don't. I need to do it this week. I forget what it was when I did it year before last, but I'm guessing it's probably somewhere in the $100, $150 mark. But yeah, they keep it a secret until you're all done, and then they say, okay, now you got to pay us X amount of dollars, but like I said, they don't tell you what it is until you get through the application. So, and then there's fingerprints, you have to do that somewhere else, so that's another $20 to $40. So then, let's see, you've got the background check, then you get to pay the bond fee, okay? Nobody's been able to tell me what the bond fee is yet or what it's for, but it's $300 to $700, and you have to have it, otherwise you can't work. So you've got the bond fee you have to pay for, and then that gets submitted with your contractor licensing packet. So then, let's see, in order to even get the contractor license, you have to take an exam called the Arizona Statutes and Rules exam, and that's $54 given to you by only one company, and it's called Ambition is the name of the company. So I'm sure they've got some kind of sweet deal going on with the government also, where they're the only game in town and you have to pay them in order to take their test. Otherwise you don't get the license. So then, after you get that and pass it, then you can take the Arizona contracting exam for whatever your trade is. Mine was electrical, and that is $66, and I pay that fee to a company called PSI. I've seen they have multiple offices in different states. PSI is some kind of testing company that just does government testing, and I'm sure they're making a ton of money out of that. So then I have to take that exam. Okay, so once I've taken the exam, then the other exam, paid the bond fee, paid the background check again, and fingerprinted again, then I can go ahead and pay the $850 for the actual state license that says I can work unencumbered anywhere in the state that I want to, unless the local municipality has their own licensing, which they will. So down in Marana, which is between here and Tucson, went down there to do one job. They whack you $125 a year just to say, hey, I'm working in your area. I mean, you got to pull the permits and everything, but you can't pull a permit without paying them the $125 in order to get a permit in their area. So the state license doesn't mean a thing there. I mean, you have to have that, but they also want their fee as well. So same thing in Tucson, same thing in a lot of different little other municipalities. They all have their own little, give me money scheme. So if you want to do work there and get a permit, you got to pay it. They got you over a barrel. There's nothing you can do. So then after you have all that, then you have to pay the TPT license fee, which oddly enough is very low. It's only $20, but that TPT license is called a Transaction Privilege Tax license, and it gives you the privilege of paying the government taxes on everything that you install or that you make as a company. So that's what that's for. That's why the fee's so low. It's only $20 because they definitely want you to have that license to pay them money. So they get a cut of everything we make. So pretty sweet deal, I'd say. I believe that's it, and so that allows us to actually be in business and send a truck out to go do the work. So my point behind this is that everybody right now, because there's hundreds of container ships stuck off the coast of California and other parts around our country that can't get unloaded because all this stuff's coming from China, and the government's just trying to ruin our country by shutting down the supply lines. But the point is, everybody's saying, oh, well, if we made it in America, we wouldn't have to worry about that. Well, that'd be great, except for things like this. So every single job, every single company, no matter what it is, has to put up with all these rules and regulations to stop you from being able to do business. I mean, they're supposed to make it easier a couple of years ago. Maybe it's easier for like billion-dollar companies, but the regular people like me, no. And just more and more and more regulations. And also, if you have any questions about this, don't think you can call anybody and ask them, because that's not going to happen. They got a couple numbers buried here and there, but you're not going to get a response. Nobody will ever answer. It just doesn't happen. On the off chance you do get somebody to answer, and you do ask them a question, if you called them 3 times and spoke with them 3 times, you're going to get 3 different answers. So the only way you really know if you're doing it right is if they send you the license back. They're definitely going to cash your check. There's no doubt about that. They're going to, your money's gone as soon as you send it. But if they send you back the license, you know you did it right. If not, they'll send you back your application and tell you, hey, you need to do this, this, and this, and be very vague about it. So hopefully you screw it up again and have to pay a refiling fee. So that's the way it works. It's a pretty good racket. Sorry, I got off track there. But the reason things aren't made in America is just because of all these rules and regulations. You can't be profitable and do this for every different thing that you do. I'm also an auto dealer. That was a whole nother thing just like this, but fees to a different Department of Motor Vehicles. And they made me go through all this, and I got fingerprinted again. Like, my fingerprints are gonna change. I've been fingerprinted 8 times in 3 years here in Arizona. 8 times. So that means I had to pay a company 8 separate times in order to send in these different certifications. And one of the other things I noticed, I was shocked. Was I went into a Dollar General store. I was doing some work there about a year ago, and they actually have 21 different permits on a board for compliance. So Dollar General, it was in the back room where the manager's office is, and they have this whole board set up and very well organized so they can keep up with all the different permits and all the different rules and regulations that are required in that area that they're working in. But 21 permits that they had to pay for in order to operate a Dollar General. I don't even know what they all were. I mean, I recognize some of them electrical or occupancy and alcohol and but 21 different permits to pay in order to operate a Dollar General. So if you try to manufacture something in the country, you can't do, I mean, you can, but the rules between OSHA and the hazardous material rules, that you have to keep all the MSDA forms for every different chemical or product that you're bringing in to use for manufacturing. Then you have to prove that, where it went and, that it didn't get wasted or you disposed of it correctly, and they're going to come and check, and you got to pay. I mean, it's just one thing after another. That's why we can't make anything here in the country. So anyway, I meant to just make a short video, but that's what it takes in order to be an alarm company in the state of Arizona. Florida's identical. It's the same thing, but they make it much more difficult. They really don't want people to be in business for themselves in Florida. Every roadblock they can throw at you, they will. And I recommend to anyone in any state, and I do it myself now, is I find a company that does nothing but they specialize in helping you get your license or helping you fill out the paperwork in order to be able to sit for the test and send in the right credentials and everything. So it usually costs about $2,000 per license, but it's well worth it, because otherwise you're just going to spend months and months and months pulling your hair out trying to accommodate all these different departments, and it gets so frustrating. You just, it gets super frustrating. And I'll say this, it's so frustrating that they're behind bulletproof glass. If you go into the offices where the permits are at, or these different departments, they're actually behind bulletproof glass. I mean, obviously they know they're just pissing people off, but it was like that in Florida. It's like that out here. I went down to Tucson. They were behind bulletproof glass there, and I mean, one of these departments, I think it's the BTR, the Board of Technical Registration. They have a place right downtown, but it's like a secret location. They don't want you to come there. I had to go there because I couldn't get anybody on the phone, and I needed to ask questions about how do I fill this out? Because I was from Florida, and their wording is different than Florida. And anyway, it's on the outside, or the building has nothing on the outside of it. There's an address on the website, but when you go there, it's a plain white building. They're on the second floor. There's nothing on the building. There's nothing on the doors. There's actually a security guard that's sitting downstairs, and I asked him, I'm like, hey, I'm looking for, room 210 or whatever it was, the BTR. Well, I don't know if they're in the building. I'm like, how long have you been working here? Oh, about a year and a half, and you don't know that they're in the... So they just want to keep it secret. I don't know why. So anyway, it would be so much easier if people were just helpful and, like, at least if they're going to jam you up for these fees, at least help you get through this. But unfortunately, that's not the case. That's why you have to pay an outside company to do it. So that's what I would recommend. Anyway, that's what it takes, all that. And, obviously you also have to form a business on top of that. And then you also have your business insurance and vehicle insurance, and there's a lot of other things that go along with it, business insurance. So it adds up, but it can be done. So good luck. Thanks.